Wonder, you're gonna be playing Fallout 76? No. Why would I? Not like I don't have a proven history of playing Fallout games. Of course I'm gonna be playing Fallout 76. It's like asking me, am I going to eat breakfast tomorrow? Actually, no, that's a bit more of a toss-up. I don't generally eat breakfast. Or I try and avoid it. Maybe it's just because I don't wake up until lunchtime. Which makes kind of a massive-ish difference. I don't know. Yeah, Fallout 76 will hardly be Fallout from the sounds of it. I don't know what to think about it. I had this big long rant about it the other night. Which, admittedly, I'm not sure if I'm going to put it up. I don't know. Let me know if you guys care about me ranting about things. I don't know. I just try not to be controversial, and sometimes I get controversial and I can't stop. Anyway, what was that? Oh, right. So Fallout 76. I'm just worried that it's going to be just covered in griefers and not very fun. That's my main, like, that's my main worry. Yeah. Fair enough, but what about the multiplayer? Yes! I'm sorry I sound exasperated. It's just literally you're the 4th person asked today alone, and the upteenth this month. It's like I cannot say yes enough because people are gonna keep asking, and eventually I'm just gonna start sounding real mad. This happened when Gungeon was coming out. People were asking me, "Are you going to play Gungeon?" And at one point I snapped at somebody, and they sent me this like really like angry message about like, how could you be so rude to me? And I'm like, it just, imagine if everybody asked you the same question every day of your life. You get pretty sick of it. And every time I run into this, I have to like almost crumble about it too, because I'm just so sick of people asking. Griefing is very limited. No. The griefing will be there. If you can kill another player, there's gonna have griefing. Like, you cannot say it won't have griefing. That's a damn dirty lie. It will have griefing. If there are other players that can kill other players, there just will be griefing. Doesn't matter what the game is. It could just be super, like, basic PvP and people will kill each other. I kill Bird because I can. In video games. Hell, in Dark Souls, we have people stream snipe us for months on end to just utterly ruin our experience because they can. They gain nothing out of it. The other day we got attacked by a person in full Havel with 99 humanity, maxed out gear, in one of the beginning areas of Dark Souls 1. I did 31 damage to him with a backstab. And he had hundreds of HP, presumably. I couldn't do anything to him. And he gained nothing from that apart from the pleasure of ruining my night. So we went off to go play Gang Beasts instead and had a good time. But it's the frustration of a person that doesn't, you know, twink myself out and grind all these things. It's like, if anybody ever says, like, there's not going to be griefing, there's going to be griefing. I don't know what they're thinking at Bethesda, but unless they make it so that you only ever run into other players once every couple of hours, there's going to be griefing and it's going to be a problem. And they said they're probably not going to, like, change it around for a couple of weeks, which translates to, it's going to be bad for the first month, and then they might fix it, maybe, or they'll just be like, well, that's the game, and then everybody just starts saying get good, and then I say, well, screw this game, I'm gonna go play something I enjoy. That's the other frustrating thing. I'm not even sure if I'm looking forward to Fallout 76, because I'm legitimately scared it's going to be a miserable experience that I do entirely because people kind of expect me to. Not because I don't want to like the game, but because I get the feeling it's going to be... awful people are going to suck all the fun juices out of it, leaving me with this, like, dried out husk of a game that I'm just like, I guess I'm just going to wait until there's private servers for this, whenever that happens. Because, yeah, there are going to be private servers, but they're not going to be immediate. Wander can't enjoy games unless he's winning. I can't enjoy games if I'm not playing them. If I'm dead on the ground constantly, I'm not going to enjoy it. But yeah, no, I lose time, I lose interest. It doesn't take much for a game to be ruined for me. Like, truly, all it takes is, like, one bad experience, and I'm soured on a whole game for the night. Because, like, if I'm legitimately having fun and then something ruins it for me, it's just like, well, now I'm mad about this, and I can't. Yeah, private servers are like a month later, which means I effectively have to suffer other people for a month before they're finally like, yeah, you can have private servers now, and it's like, well, at this point, from my perspective as a YouTuber, nobody cares anymore. And then I'm gonna have to reformat this thing. Let's do reload instead, actually. Let's do chilling reload, because that gets us blast. A little bit less on the crit damage, but it keeps our fire rate good. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so a little bit less crit chance. Crit damage is fine, decent reload, and some blast damage on top of this. And now let's go back to leveling other weapons instead. Someday I'll use these cool weapons that I just grabbed. But yeah, no, it's probably not going to work out well. I think people are going to be quite mad, and I don't think they quite know what kind of landmine they're creating here. If they manage to really, like, limit the amount of player contact so people can't just bully other people, awesome. But if it's, like... How many of you guys played Rust when it first came out? Because I played Rust, and I was on a server that one of my friends had picked out, and it looked fine. And it had reduced griefing rules. You know, you didn't gain anything from killing other players. And so in Rust, one day I just woke up, and my entire base was encased in a wall. I couldn't get out, I didn't have enough resources to build my way out, and I couldn't beat down the door because all you had was a basic goddamn rock, and I could do nothing about it. And it was awful, and I hated it. And I never played Rust again. And then they changed it and made it worse, I think. But like, Rust was kind of effectively what it feels like Fallout 76 might end up being, where it's like this kind of open world sandbox survival thing, where people are just going to be awful to each other because it's funny. And you know, I can kind of enjoy, you know, being kind of trolly and messing with people and stuff like that. But the problem is, like, in games where there's, like, equipment systems or groups or any number of things, whoever plays the most and, like, knows all the exploits is going to win. You know, I brought up the guy from, who was stream sniping us in Dark Souls the other night. He might have actually just been randomly invading, but he invaded us repeatedly and was very smug about it to the point where he was friending us on Steam and whatnot, which is kind of a dick move. Obviously, I'm sure somebody is going to tell me that I'm just a whiner when it comes to, you know, not enjoying Dark Souls, but I don't know, whatever. The Rust is kind of like Ark in a way. Except for Ark, I mean, for starters, you can actually play Ark solo and enjoy it. Playing Rust solo is a boring and terrible experience. But it just wasn't fun, and like, it kind of ruined the experience for me, and I'm terrified that that's how it's going to be for Fallout 76. You know, maybe the first day is going to be good, and then every other day after the first day, once everybody has managed to get all the endgame loot, you know, played for 24 hours, shared all their secrets, grouped up with friends, you're just going to have kill squads wandering around shooting people and nuking bases because it's funny. Yeah, Dark Souls co-op is fun. PvP, not so much so. It depends. So I actually, on launch of Dark Souls 3, I had a blast. I think there's even a... If you go check my Dark Souls 3 series, that is perfect integration of PvP as far as I'm concerned. They did kind of have some trolley builds. You know, they were definitely trying to get the... the monsters to help them out, you know, lead us into bad situations. And yeah, sometimes we did get, like, wrecked because of it. But there were a couple of segments that were absolutely hilarious. At one point, you're supposed to traverse an area that looks like Anor Londo from Dark Souls 1. And it's kind of this, like, neat, like, oh, look! You're in the same place... You've been in the same place this whole time, and it's like the big reveal or whatever. And I thought that was kind of cool. But, so... That part is really cool, because it's got multiple PvP covenants, and you have to use the dried finger if you want to get through with 4 players. Or, not 4 players, 3 players. And so Bird, Keith, and myself all more or less had to go through this horrible PvP gauntlet. And this was still early enough in Dark Souls 3 that very few people had access to hacks or exploits or anything of the sort. And, you know, it was fairly balanced. So what we did was we effectively had Super Fight Club mode for an entire, like, hour and a half or something. And it was beautiful. And it was fun. And now it's just like... Oh, what is this gun? I've never used the Hind before. I don't know if it's any good. And it was beautiful, and it was fun, and it was fair for the most part. Like, there were some people that played like dicks. You know, hid behind the hard mobs with their PvP buddies. But there were other people that had, like, came into it with complete honor. There was one dude that was barehanded that was so good at parrying, you couldn't hit him. And it was really fun. Because it was kind of this challenge to fight him. And eventually we, like, were just hanging out on a staircase, brawling it out. And that just was the, oh, tile set changed. I didn't even notice. And that just was the experience. And it was legitimately enjoyable. And that was the last time I've had any fun in Dark Souls PvP. Because then we did 2, and we got the stream sniper, and it was miserable. Oh, I don't have an Act Bronco Prime Blueprint. It's a good thing I'm getting that, actually. There's a level cap. Level caps don't mean anything, though. Like, so... To go back to the Dark Souls invader that got me. The guy that invaded us was probably the same level as us, but he was wearing absolute maximum tier gear, because level caps don't mean anything when it comes to equipment. And equipment doesn't mean anything when it's only balanced partially. Because, like, imagine if you played Fallout 76 and you never leveled yourself up. Oh, I see. We probably did the Ara Mars instead of E Prime Exterminate. Well, let's do the capture mission. I think that's actually faster. But, like, you really, really have to work to make your PvP game balanced. It's why, Worlds Adrift is kind of miserable without friends to help you. Or, like, you know, a clan to give you, like, this massive safe zone. Or just enough experience and whatnot. And, like, yeah, there are some funny invaders. We had one guy that always came in with, like, these horrifying-looking characters with, like, shock humor names. And it was just like, okay, you know, that's kind of annoying. But then he would drop, like, useful items for us. It's like, okay, well, you've kind of redeemed yourself. As opposed to the people that come in with the, like, extreme troll builds that knock you off cliffs. And it's like, all it takes is one bad experience with an invader to just be sick of them. Dark Souls 1 PvP is based on weapon levels. 0 to 5, 6 to 10, another separate one. Yeah, but it doesn't count how much humanity you have and, like, a bunch of other things. So, like... I love Dark Souls. I love From Software, but they have no idea how to make a fun PvP experience. They have the basis for it, but then they forget that there are people. And people are awful. What was another game that was kind of completely ruined? I guess to some lesser degree, Albion Online is one of those where it's like forced PvP the whole way down. That was kind of miserable in its own way, because it was just like, well, I just kind of want to play this game solo. And the developers are like, well, we didn't make the game for you. Go find one of the 3 guilds with any power to safeguard you. Or just accept that you'll never be able to see the end of this game. Also, it's extraordinarily grindy, so you better pay up for that monthly fee. And it's like, no. I don't trust people not to ruin my fun. Hell, I get people that just like actively try and ruin my day because I'm trying to provide entertainment on the internet. The gall, I know. I don't entirely know if it's somebody messing with me, but I've been getting a bunch of email addresses from somebody applying to jobs. And it's like, I think I've gotten 20 emails today alone. But it's all just job applications, so I've just been deleting them because it could just be somebody that like stupidly was like, I'm gonna put down Wanderbots' email address, and it's like, whatever, I don't really care that much. Or it could be somebody actively trying to mess with me, at which point it's like, well, let's just delete it anyway. But I've had other people that, like, send me nasty messages. We had somebody pop into our TeamSpeak last week during Conan to just screech at us mechanically. That was unfortunate. I didn't really enjoy that. Let's see. I'm just trying to think of my laundry list of people being evil. I've told the story before. I guess, honestly, last time I was playing Warframe. But I was playing, right. I totally forgot which icon to click on here. I was playing World of Warcraft back in vanilla, and I had like a hunter and a rogue on the horde side following me and my shitty level 11 gnomish mage around the wetlands. Might not have been 11. I might have actually been over 20 at that point. But so they just followed me around and killed me, and every time I'd respawn, they'd know where I was because they were tracking humanoids, and well, I'd die again. I think eventually I just took the death penalty and then realized I kind of hated the game and never played again. We've gotten 6-man ganked in Dark Souls 3. Isn't that, like, largely statistically impossible? You'd have to do something really nutsy to get ganked by 6 people at once. But I have had 3 invaders at once going to town. The full-on 3v3 was nuts. That was fun, though. Because it was balanced-ish. Mad Phantoms helped a lot, too, because they kind of would hit everybody. Which certainly made the experience much more fun in its own way. Yeah, I don't know. There are just mean people out there, and they like to ruin things for other people, and so that's why Fallout 76 scares me, and why I'm actually kind of excited for Anthem. I don't know if you guys saw the footage of Anthem recently. I played it the other night, after Warframe. It looked really good. Like, legitimately fun. And so I'm actually kind of tentatively excited for Anthem. I'm probably not going to like it as much as Warframe, just because it's going to be one of those games where you play it for about 10 hours, and then you're like, alright, I've seen everything. And it doesn't give you, like, that lasting incentive. I still don't have enough reactants. None of you guys do. Get off the objective. We shouldn't be leaving yet. Let's see. I don't know. The Anthem footage actually looks kind of good. Main problem is just, like, I don't know if they're going to be able to provide nearly the, like, depth and breadth of content to make it worth it. I get the feeling it's going to kind of end up being like, oh, geez, Fortnite, where it's like, alright, now if you want to get any of the good shit, you're going to have to really work your ass off for it. I guess you kind of have to do the same thing with Warframe, but, like, the thing I like about Warframe and, the thing I like about Warframe's handling of grinding is it's very rare that you will, like, run into an RNG wall. It's usually pretty easy to straight up, like, find what you need. There's a couple of, like, really rare mods, but you rarely need them. You know, most of the primed mods you just get from Barrow Katir. You just have to, you know, I'd say get lucky with the specific week. But, you know, it's rare that it'll just be like, okay, you straight up have to rely on luck to get this thing. Like, yeah, okay, fine. Currently we're rolling for prime parts, trying to, I mean, currently I'm going for ducats, but if you're trying to get the Paris Prime, it is down to RNG to some degree. But at the same time, you could easily sell, like, you know, something that you don't need for some plat. Save your plat until you can get whatever prime part you need. Or if you have some friends, maybe one of them might have a spare, which is nice. Like, it never felt grinding up to where I am in Warframe that it was just like, okay, now I have to go grind this mission forever until I find the one random thing that I need. With one exception. Condition Overload. I don't have that mod yet. I actually spent some time earlier this week grinding for Condition Overload with some other people. And there's a very real possibility I'm going to have to spend like 5-10 hours trying to get that. Yeah, it has a 0.02% drop chance. I would actually, once we're done doing ducat farming, I might actually go, oh, you're giving me Condition Overload. Okay, sure. I was gonna say, I wouldn't actually mind grinding for it if people wanted to join me regardless. Because I don't think I really need Condition Overload. It's probably really good for some builds. But, I don't know, hard to say. But yeah, I really wanted to like Fortnite. The PvE was just, it was too grindy and too, like, it was too... So, when Warframe kind of incentivizes spending money, it's like, hey, here's this really cool looking thing. It's gonna take you a couple of days to get, or you could just spend like $1 now and get it. Whereas like Fortnite is just like, hey, here's this really cool thing. Here's a slot machine. The only way to get it is through rolling the slot machine. I'm like, no, screw that. I don't want that. Like, just let me buy the gun outright if you're absolutely going to do that. And they're like, nope, RNG, good luck. Start bashing those llamas. Hope people are interested in watching unboxing videos. Let's see. Only problems with Warframe farming are the low drop only chance and scanning plants. Yeah, I didn't have too much problem with scanning plants. I think a lot of the problems with like grind time and like scanning plants and whatnot are abated purely by having other people around. Like scanning plants was mad easy when Titania first came out, because it was just like, hey guys, let's wander around until we find those plants, and then like cooperatively we were able to get the whole you know, the entirety of the scans real quick. And I'm sure there's always somebody that'd be willing to help out with that. The main problem that I didn't like with it was that to get some of the scans you had to wait until it was like night or daytime. That was kind of a pain in the ass. I didn't like that so much. Let's see, what do I think of Warframe on the Switch? I am both jealous and kind of indifferent. If Warframe ever introduces crossplay, I will be so excited about it being on the Switch, because the Switch is my play-in-bed console, unless I have something specific to record on it, like an exclusive. But if there's no exclusive, if it's not an exclusive, then I just don't care. Because Warframe on the Switch is meaningless to me, because I don't want to grind through all of this again. In fact, I probably never will. You know, if somebody was like, hey, you should play this on the Switch, I'd be like, why? What would it gain me? Just lower resolution and frame rate. Bye. Oh, no, I didn't slide off the edge. But if they had crossplay, I'd just go play Warframe on the Switch in my bed. Like, I'd be doing this grinding, just whenever. And it'd be great. But crossplay is hard to do, so it'll never happen. Which is a bit of a shame. See, is Warframe hard to play? No, asterisk. There are certain missions that are extremely difficult, but they're extraordinarily rare. Most missions are really, really easy, and you can just kind of laze your way through. Like, there's a reason why I generally play this game late at night, and just kind of zonk out and have fun with it. So you want to trade Condition Overload now or later? Let's see. I assume it's not a Prime mod. Let's just get it out of the way now. sorry, everyone. We might as well do this now, otherwise I'm just gonna forget forever. But yeah, the hardest part about Warframe is the learning curve. Because part of it is like, you know, if any of you guys watching this have never played Warframe before and you don't know what you're getting into, looking at this, it probably makes it look easy, but gearing up always takes like a little bit of time and effort. Let's see. I always forget where my trade terminals are. Is Warframe really on the Switch? Not yet. It will soon, though. The damage system confuses you. Still confuses me. Let's see, what do we have? Guess I will give you a thing. What is that thing? Ammo drum. I might have actually gotten rid of all of my ammo drums. Nope, there they are. Perfect. Unless you actually want payment for this, at which point I don't mind paying either. But yeah, so Warframe will be on the Switch within the next couple of months, probably. I bet by the fall. I think that's a safe. But yeah, Warframe is one of the easiest MMOs. Yup. It's... You never have to do any of those, like, extremely difficult... Oh, you broke the game. Oh, shall I just re-invite you? Okay, resend trade. Gotcha. But, like, I remember playing World of Warcraft, and, like, some of those endgame raids are, like, legitimately hard. And, like, you actually have to work for them. Not so much in Warframe. Like, even the raids were mostly easy with the exception of, like, one, but that's so endgame it doesn't even matter. Okay, there we go. Oh, and it's maxed out. Well, that saves me a lot of trouble, actually. Altorial trying to scam Wander out of his ammo drums. You won't have them! What is my character? Oh, my character is bowing. I was confused about that. Alright, let's see. So, I think if we leave the dojo, it'll bring you guys with, but I'm not entirely sure, so I can always just resend invites. But yeah, the new player experience is kind of rough, because effectively, you're thrown into a galactic map with no like, real... With no real... What's the word? There's a tutorial, but it doesn't teach you about the... It doesn't teach you about the finer points of, like, mod customization. It doesn't teach you about where to get certain frames, what frames are good, what the meta is, how to get primed frames, generally. And so, like, the thing is, the community is so incredibly friendly. If you want to learn, there are an insane number of people that will just gladly jump at teaching you how to play. And, like, honestly, some of them will just gladly carry your butt straight through the game. But there's no real guidance from the game itself. Let's see, I want to play Warframe, but I'm scared of scammers since it's free. No, you really can't get scammed in this game. You could, but you would have to actually... It would take actual effort to get scammed in this game, as far as I'm concerned. Because, like... There's no real money that gets passed around if you're new. And if you are spending money on this, don't. Don't spend any money on Warframe until you know what you're doing. Once you know what you're doing, then you'll know what to spend the money on. But, like, impulse buying things, buying frames, it's not worth it. I guess, honestly, the only person that's going to scam you, the only thing that's going to scam you is DE itself. Just because some of the things that you can buy are just not really worth it. Like, specifically, there's mod packs that you can get, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get a mod pack. Maybe it'll have some rare mods in it. No, it's not going to, and why would you do that? There's much better ways to get, like, what you need instead. Yeah, it's not worth spending money on Warframe Unless you're buying a couple of things. Cosmetics or slots. Those are the only two real things that you can... those are the only two real things that like you'll ever really, really want to spend money on. There's a couple of things like, you know, Prime access and like deluxe skins and TennoGen. TennoGen is where most of my money ever goes. I will buy, I mean, this skin I bought for like $5. I would say it was a waste, but I don't regret it. And that money actually goes to the person that made it as opposed to... I think DE gets a little bit of it. I don't really know what the cut is, but it's fine. But yeah, the only way you can possibly generally get scammed is if you don't look up the price beforehand. At which point, well, what are you doing? This isn't like RuneScape where somebody's going to pull like a bait and switch out the trimmed armor for just regular black black full plate. Was it black? I don't even remember. I used to pull scams in RuneScape because it was funny. I was a mean middle schooler. I usually only scammed my friends though, and hacked my friend's account. I was really just kind of a dick to my friends because they deserved it. One of my quote-unquote friends was undercutting me for like, I think I was paying like, I was getting paid about a third market price for coal in RuneScape, and I'm still kind of mad at the guy for that. But no, Warframe is rarely will you ever get scammed. Mainly because it doesn't even matter. Like, you can get everything in this game without spending a dime. It just takes time. Let's see, what's TennoGen? TennoGen is effectively here. I guess I can pull it up. We're still in we're still in this. So TennoGen is this. So anybody can submit an asset. Ooh, look at some of these. Look at this. I will pay money for this one. So TennoGen is like, hey, this 3D modeler made this item. Warframe or Digital Extremes, can you please put it in your game and sell it for money? And Digital Extremes will take a look at it and be like, yeah, that actually looks really nice. That, you know, that looks really cool. Sure, why not? Whereas, like, you know, this one actually looks quite nice too, but I'm not interested in it. I'll say yes anyway, just because it looks nice. But, you know, there might be, like, a bad one at some point, and DE will say no. And, you know, it might not get the community interest. And so eventually it gets put into the game, and you can straight up just go here. Go to, say, Appearance. There's other ways to get it, but, so if you notice, I've got the Emperor Prime skin, Emperor Majesty skin, which has this little symbol, means it's TennoGen, says over here. And there's other skins, like this one, which, actually, that's not a terrible helmet, but I don't care. There's some that, the DE itself makes. Like the deluxe chicken skin. I really, really wish they had actually made that, that original deluxe skin that they were gonna make. But yeah, so anybody that can 3D model can submit a skin. And I think that's really cool, but you do have to spend real money on those. You don't see many other developers ever do stuff like that. And to me, that's cool. That, you know, there's such a vibrant community kind of providing extra content for this game. And the developers aren't just, like, saying, that's mine now. I do not like green eggs and ham. No, I don't like the idea of, like, developers just taking assets and ideas and whatnot. That's just shitty. I think they fired the guy who made the original Ember Deluxe skin. Some sort of violent disagreement or another. It wasn't violent, but they were having creative differences over it, and I think he was being... It was kind of a mix of, like, him being, I think, inflexible. I think really just, like, two stubborn creatives were butting heads, and it wasn't working well. And because one of them was just the employee, and the other one was, you know, the boss. Oh, he got let go. I've seen it happen before. I mean, it sucks. But whatever. There's the Majesty skin, so I'm not too heartbroken about it. It just sucked because it was actually a really, really cool skin. Yeah, Fashion Frame is endgame, and they put the endgame in the hands of the player base. Yeah, which is cool. I still wish they actually did have some more interesting endgame activities. Not to say that this gets boring, but it does get very repetitive. And, well, the repetition for me is kind of enjoyable just because, like, you know, I spent a good 6 hours today making art assets before D&D. And then 4 hours, 3.5 hours doing D&D stuff. And then, you know, I'm kind of bushed. But I didn't want to stop streaming or playing tonight. And so I decided I'd play Warframe. And just kind of have some fun with it.